The regional crop monitor was actually developed as a response to a need to advise the countries in the IGAD region on the impact of the climate conditions that are reported from the consensus reporting as part of the Climate Outlook Forum meetings that are held quarterly every year, to report on the impact of the expected climatic conditions on the agricultural sector. This is because agriculture forms a critical part of the GDP for the countries in the IGAD region, and this was a gap that was not being met. The regional crop monitor allows the stakeholders within the IGAD countries not only to use field reports to understand the crop conditions, but also incorporate the assessments to include the satellite information from sensors such as MODIS, and specifically using NDVI. The way it works is that they are able to look at the greenness that is being represented from the NDVI and use that to validate the reports that they are getting to the field in such a way that they have better understanding of what is happening on the ground. The way it works is that the countries, from each of the countries, we have a focal point, what we call the champions, and the champions are then required to use their networks within the country to understand the crop conditions in each of the regions, and then every month they report that, and that report is used to develop the crop conditions bulletin for early warning. The bulletin is then disseminated as part of the climate outlook bulletin that is developed after each COF. And the countries are able to use the information that is generated to link the climatic conditions to what will happen to the agricultural sector and take the necessary mitigation strategies that are required, or take the decisions that would help either cope with the situation that is happening. I think the best example that we can give is the fall armyworm infestation that is being experienced. Through the crop monitor, we are able to understand the drivers to less than favorable crop conditions, and governments are able to make decisions to mitigate such situations or to implement strategies that would help reduce the losses that would otherwise be incurred by a continued infestation. The regional crop monitor actually informs decisions at the national level, because the information is only reported as a single report per region or province for each of these countries. But because of the need for downscaled information, we are already working with countries to implement national crop monitors. This has already happened in Uganda and Tanzania, and currently we are working with the State Department of Agriculture here in Kenya to implement a national crop monitor that is currently reporting the crop conditions at county level, but with further developments we would be able, if there is need, provide the means for reporting at sub-county level, which they have expressed interest in.
The crop monitor, for us, it's a regional project first, and it's meant to promote reporting or information delivery in the region regarding crop situation in a monthly basis and in a seasonal basis. So our role is to promote the member countries to report on their crop conditions, to build their capacity, to provide the dashboards, the resources, the technical know-how, and then we compile the information for their use or for any other person who might want to use such information. It was introduced last year in July. This is the very first regional crop monitor. It coordinates the efforts of national coordinators to one regional type of information bulletin that can be shared out now to the regional players. She's Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti, and the two Sudan, South Sudan and Sudan, that is this region.
So the Crop Monitor is an online collaborative tool that is supporting analysts from ministries of agriculture, representatives from international organizations that are interested in monitoring crop conditions, which has huge implications for food security monitoring and decision making. So the tool allows analysts from, be it a Ministry of Agriculture or a program like FuseNet, an FAO or World Food Program, to assess crop condition using the best available information they have, in addition to, and sometimes primarily on Earth, using Earth observation information from satellite data, to make assessments for crop conditions at a regional level. This region can be county, district, or regional level in the country. The key point of the tool is to encourage the use of actual data, in most instances satellite-based data, validated with field data, to provide a support tool for decision making. One of the challenges is that you do not know where the problems are, and also you do not know to what level the severity of the problem might be. But then there's also the challenge of when a government is trying to make a decision, where and how they can act and respond and when. And so the crop monitor process is that on a monthly basis, assessments are done using high quality, relatively high quality information, and it's published and accessible to everybody. And so because of that, a minister in Minister of Agriculture or Minister of Finance, they can decide based on current conditions, which is also given as a guideline in the report. Based on current conditions, this is what the outlook will be. So if we're early in the season, and according to the report we have poor conditions, that means that there's the chance of recovery is minimal to none. And so as a minister, what do you do then? Do you let your population, your farmers, continue investing in their fields, or do you devise or look into alternatives that then they can partake to reduce the risks if their fields completely fail? In the early warning crop monitor, we have participation from 8 agencies. We have World Food Program, FAO, FuseNet. We have country partners from Uganda, from Tanzania. We have, of course, the ICPAC here. For this ICPAC one, we have support from NASA Severe project. That's how we've been able to put together this whole system. And NASA Severe is a partnership between the USAID and NASA. This partnership has enabled RSMRD, ICPAC, the University of Maryland, the different ministries that are represented today are technically our partners from Ethiopia, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania. So the assessments, we have, like Burundi, for example, has information from the field. They have access to Earth observation data, satellite-based NDVI, for example. They make an assessment of the conditions in the country, contextualize that together with the field information they have on all the reports. Once they combine those two, then they can go into the crop monitor system and report for their country. The GACO framework or report that comes out is probably one of the most used reports in terms of using actual data to inform decisions. So country representatives go to the GACO, and discussions are held about everything, including food security. They talk about the climate outlook the climate outlook for the coming season. And once it's done and it's presented, then national representatives go back with that information and report it back to their superiors. So, my hope is that once this is working, and I think it's already starting to be very promising, because we're trying to empower national analysts to be able to confidently report. Once this is done consistently over time, this could become a signature source of information about crops. The crop monitor tools were designed in a way to take advantage of all this available big data on remote sensing of the entire in the entire globe, and make a very simple, straightforward report that can be understood by a decision maker. The real gap is the fact that there's a general lack in information on crops, crop conditions, yield, all of that exists, but it's not, it's not very high quality. And so the crop monitor tools try to address that by not only enabling a process of using high quality information for reporting, but then also enabling high quality, clear, summarized information for decision making.
As you know, as you understand, uh, in one or the other way, the crop is dependent on the weather conditions, directly or indirectly. So the crop monitoring is very important to take an early actions. So in this regard, to take early action relative to the weather situation, the weather impact on the crop monitoring is really very important for our policymakers to take some measures. Actually, in Ethiopia now there is a task force which many institutions involved in that task force. And first of all, we receive the weather conditions, then we sit together, discuss on the impact, the likely impact on the crop. After we quantify the likely impact of the weather on a given crops, then we try to produce an advisory. So this advisory disseminate by the Ministry of Agriculture up to the grassroots levels. So based on this, also we also have produced bulletins. Our advisory not only in as a kind of bulletins only, but also leaflets. In that form, we send our advisories to the farmers, and the other one is in bulletins in English, in Amharic, in Oromifa. We produce in these three languages. That bulletin included the assessment and the forecast, the impact, also the advisory for the coming weather. Especially we are using remote sensing products like NDVI, the vegetation conditions, by using the GLAM, particularly also other sources we are using, other tools we are using. The crop monitoring is playing a significant role in producing the advisories basically in order to take the early action.
In my country, crop monitor tool is used to carry out monthly early warning crop conditions assessment, whereby we carry out regional reportings where we explain to the farmers the different conditions that were reported previously in the last month or the current month, and what they expect maybe the season to be or crop conditions to be in a particular month, basing on rainfall data that is provided through the satellite systems and rainfall data from the National Meteorology Authority. So we base on that data and on-ground data we get from the field, from the agricultural officers, production officers, and maybe if it's possible we have some, if we can go ahead and carry out on-ground proofing of the gardens and we see how crops are being performing, then we can generalize a comment that we can give to the farmers in form of early warning. The crop conditions assessments in my country are carried out by the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness and Management with collaboration and partnership with other ministerial agencies, including the Ministry of Agriculture, the National Meteorological Authority. So it's a combination of different data and field reports from the different departments and agencies that are closely working with the farmers in the field. So it's carried out by agriculturists and GIS analysts who are very well experienced in early warning for crop conditions and agriculture. Currently, for my country, we have not found a lot of challenges in the crop monitor since it's already adapted and people have already approved it. It's a process that is ongoing. It's carried out monthly, and agriculturalists, farmers have already adapted and they use this early warning information. And we recently did a survey, online survey, of how far it's really working and performing today. Farmers use the information in the field, and it really came out that at least above 85% people were responding and were using the early warning from the crop monitoring tool to make final decisions to do with agriculture, when should they plant their crops and what they expect the season to be, how is the rainfall performing, because the crop monitoring assessments are done based on different sources, including rainfall, so you cannot leave it out. And farmers have really adapted it in making their decisions on when to plant, how they expect the production to be in the end of the month or in the end of the growing season, and it really adapted.
I think crop monitor is a kind of general information sharing. You know that we get the first message come to the satellites, and it is generated through the layers. Some people who mastering the system try to produce those layers, and then as for example for us champions, we try to interpret those data. Especially there are other people who are have expertise in GIS, for example, who try to produce some maps, and those maps we used to link of what we found in the fields or in the ground. Then that information can come out with a report which will be addressed to end users. And in that time where we are looking, for example, like crop monitor looking on the season progress. See, we are reporting regularly how the season is being conducted. And in that case, for example, if we found in one of the region, like in Rwanda, in the eastern part, we found that there will be a drought, or in the western there will be a heavy floods, that will inspire like policymakers on thinking at the end of the season what kind of strategy can be put in place in order to address some problems which may come, or see if there is any food security issues, and we'll see what other strategy may take. Through that process of producing that regular report every month, because every month there is a report coming out to the crop monitor, and that may help different stakeholders, not even only the government, different stakeholders, like projects involved in the agriculture sector. They can look, this maybe we need to take too much effort on post-harvest activities, for example. If it will be like a heavy rain in the end of the season, that will be some post-harvest activities will be taken into consideration. Challenge comes because, like, for example, you can report in the previous month, you show that maybe looking the layers produced, you found that maybe in one region maybe there will not be a rain, and we try to produce that report, but the next month there is change, and during the month, because it can come in the first 2 weeks, and they may report it in the end of the month, and they found that there are some changes. Let's see, you try to see if the information you provided is reliable, comparing that there is a change which happened during the months. That was the first challenge for maybe reporting regularly to the crop monitor. Now is me only who has been, we are two trained about crop monitor, but me I'm the only one who who is regularly report about crop monitor, but I think there is need of networking or looking how in each country we can have many people who have been involved, and not maybe like me, for example, or another one can have a team based on different regions and trying to provide you information, and you try to summarize, because in every month it is very hard to be in all regions. We right now currently we are using agronomists, district agronomists to provide information, but looking the size of the countries, it might be very hard, to have reliable information which will reflect to the layers in the layers produced through the satellites. In Rwanda, for instance, in case of Rwanda, it is easy because there are some existing programs which can be used to get information through the field at field level, because there is a system of MIS system, management information system, which has produced a database, and you are the part of that team. You easily get information through the district agronomists, through the farmers, district agronomists, and the other stakeholders involved in the agriculture sector. It is easy. It is easy for in case of Rwanda, and you can use that network to get information which will be reported to the crop monitor. But that is not enough, because you need also to give a responsibility of someone who is locally based to be part of that team.
Crop monitor is a kind of a web interface which help to assess crop condition. That too is give crop condition for a given crop and also in a given region. The main staple crop is beans. We monitor beans. We monitor maize and banana. To collect data on field, there are some government institution which is in charge of agricultural statistic collection. Namely, his name is Istebu. Istebu is an institution, a government institution in charge of statistic collection in many domains, such as agriculture sector, even in other sectors like economics and so on. Data collection, field collection, in collaboration with other agriculture sector services in Ministry of Agriculture. As a way forward, I recommend to enhance capacity for more participants, for more people to learn about crop monitor, and also maybe to install at each country level a team for crop monitor. It's better to start at national level and to report at regional level. Better to train more people on crop monitor utilization.
So, of course, currently we do with the National Crop Monitor, which comprises various informations. It comprises information about crop conditions, what is going on in the field. It comprises information about the rainfall. It comprises information about the prices, as well as the vulnerable area, if there are vulnerable areas. So those are some the information that are included in our national crop monitor. So it helps us to know the status of the country, especially on the issue of the crop conditioning, what is going on, and it will give our authorities the idea what to do with the real condition of the crop in the field. If it is, maybe it is watch, so the government can take action what to do. Yeah. It was developed so as to help us to get information on the issue of what is going on in the country, particularly the issue of food security, to inform monthly, because we do prepare it monthly. After we prepare it, because we feed the information in our department, after getting the information from our officers in the region and district, we feed the information in the portal, and then we download the map, which will show the real situation. And also, after downloading the map, we feed the other information from other sources. For example, the Ministry of Industry and Trade, where you get the information of the price, from the Tanzania Meteorological Agency, where you get the information of the rainfall. And I've said also the information of the case of crop condition you get from the regional and the district authorities. So after getting those information, we prepare the bulletin, and that bulletin, after we finish, we disseminate it in various stakeholders. For example, in those regions, we disseminate those bulletins so that it can see what is going on in their region and also in other regions. Also, we disseminate with the other stakeholders. For example, other minutes, we do disseminate the information so that they can take it and use it.
Crop monitor is a way of capturing, tracking the crop, the performance of the crop from all stages, right from planting. You monitor its performance up to the time of harvest. So at each particular stage, like from germination through the vegetative growth and reproductive growth, you are able to know what is the condition and what is the expected yield at the end of the season, so that the government is able to know whether there is enough maize in the country, whether the expected harvest is going to be adequate, or there are shortfalls, so that contingent measures are put in place. We, from the technical staff from the ministry, we also involved in suggesting modifications that are supposed to be incorporated, and let alone our staff from the RCMLD also visited our office. We discussed the template and suggested adjustments. And what we are using is that template. But of course, there are other shortcomings which are there. Like when we are doing the report at times, we find that the field staff also are not trained about the crop monitor. So like when we are capturing information at times, they are not able to give us. And also at times we are let down by the network, by the internet. Network at times is poor. So when you are submitting, it poses certain challenges. One of the shortcomings also when you are reporting according to the regions, and the regions are so wide, you might not be able to capture specific situation per county. So if we can adopt the use of counties and even go down to the sub-counties, you can be able to give the right situation. Like a place like Pomet, for example, you find there are areas that plant quite early. You go there, you find crop in all stages. Some crop is young, some are matured, depending on the sub-county. The way forward is that we need to train the field staff. Maybe start with the county crops officers. We train them about how the crop monitor works. After training them, also the same training can be given to the sub-county staff and the field staff. And then we can adopt the use of ICT, the new technology, sending reports through the use of tablets. And then we can also be doing bulletin, like in Kenya we have not been producing a bulletin, we should move to that stage of producing a bulletin, maybe on a quarterly basis, which can also be used for informing the government.
Under crop production indicators, we usually use data from the FuseNet to generate the NDVI, the normalized difference vegetation index. And that actually gives us the general view of how the vegetation condition is. So we usually complement it with other indicators like the crop condition. Under the crop condition, we usually have our field monitors at the field, and they're usually based at ward level. So they usually go to the field, they monitor the condition of the crops, and they give us the feedback. Now from the feedback, we can interpret by comparing the feedback that they give us and with the NDVI that we access from the FuseNet. So from there we can able to make a conclusion whether the vegetation is vigor or there is a drought situation in a certain condition. So that's about the crop production. Monitoring is a tool which is very beneficial to different stakeholders, and actually it will be very essential to farmers at the ground level, because after the analyst has analyzed the crop condition, they can able to advise different stakeholders on the situation of their crop condition, you see. So from there they can able to make their timely response in regard to the condition of the crop. Basically, as a field monitor at a county level, I would recommend it if they can a bit downscale it down to the county level, so that I'll be able to extract maybe the crop condition at my county level. It will be very essential to the data analyst at the county level now, if it is downscaled to the county level, apart from just being a regional. And now, they may come to NDMA and train all our field monitors. After being downscaled to the county level now, they can come and train all our field monitors so that they may be able to access the information at their website and know how to use the tool now. Actually, our field monitors, we have different field monitors at different wards in every counties. So in each and every county, there are different main food crops that they usually monitor. Like in Tana River, we have maize and beans. So usually they monitor the maize. They usually monitor the beans, and they access those who monitor their accessibility and their availability.
The regional crop monitor actually informs decisions at the national level, because the information is only reported as a single report per region or province for each of these countries. But because of the need for downscaled information, we are already working with countries to implement national crop monitors. This has already happened in Uganda and Tanzania, and currently we are working with the State Department of Agriculture here in Kenya to implement a national crop monitor that is currently reporting the crop conditions at county level, but with further developments we would be able, if there is need, provide the means for reporting at sub-county level, which they have expressed interest in. National champions can also tap in through these other networks that are available, that are already recognized as food security information producers, and get the information that would make the assessment at country level more useful. I think what I'd like to see is that what we have is a basic system, and my expectation would be that this system grows to incorporate more information based on the needs of the users in the IGAD region. So this would maybe include addition of a rangeland component that allows assessment of or provides some information on the condition of the rangelands alongside the consensus climate outlook.
how we are going to build the capacity of national champions. These just 2 out of the many trainings we are planning. Every season we'll be planning a training or a pre-COF, what we call pre-climate outlook forum, capacity building. And this will be supported by now the new project coming up in ICPAC and RCMRD called GMES, Global Monitoring for Environment and Security in Africa. So crop monitor will be coordinated under GMES in ICPAC, under the agriculture monitoring and assessment theme of the project. So for the next about 3 years, the project is well supported, and it will continue with capacity building, expand the capacity building to include more people in a country. Our target is to have at least 10 champions in every country. Kenya is doing very well because they are well represented with many champions. But we are looking to build each country to have at least 10 champions, so that we have different views and different expert assessments for a better product. First of all, we are not just looking at crop conditions at this stage. We've partnered with East Africa Grain Council, and what we'll be doing, we'll also be hosting market, and that is price information, which is very relevant for any other user, not just a scientific user, not just a monitoring user, but market information are very important also for policy makers to know how the market prices are moving together with the crop conditions, and also for any other person who can access the bulletin, and it will be a free to share bulletin. For the policy makers, what we are going to do is in the climate outlook forums, we actively involve directors of institutions that are mandated to make decisions in agriculture. For example, in each country in the IGAD state, we make sure the directors of participate in the agriculture sector. And it is through those directors that we are entering into the countries, because they're the ones that guide the policy makers in the country. So that is our best entry point on a regional scale to the national scale, through the directors of agriculture, met institutions, and the directors that are mandated with food security issues.